All right. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So it's been a while since we talked. Last time we talked about the Predator Badlands trailer, and it's been a couple days since. So I thought we'd just kind of sit here and talk to you guys about some of the things that we've heard since. Um, Obviously, there's been a lot of backlash on what the Predator's face looks like and just his overall design. Um, he's just too small, too human-like. His hair is all weird. He looks like Whoopi Goldberg. It's just all wrong. So yes, everybody is kind of aware now that he's a teenager and he's been outcast by his father from his tribe, and he's I think the movie's gonna take place on two different planets. I'm not really sure about that yet. Um, One of the Yautja Prime, which is the Predator home planet, and so now everybody's calling the Predators Yautjas, so they're Yautjas. I guess they've always been Yautjas, but I've never heard of them called Yautjas. So anyway, moving forward, the Yautjas or the Predators, this movie should take place on their home planet, and then I think the protagonist Predator Deke. I'll try not to mess that name up. Deke gets transported to, or he chooses to go to another world in order to try to fit back into his clan and go on a kind of like a tribal hunt, a ceremonious hunt for the predators. So yeah, like we talked about before, the predators are going to be the protagonists, and they're going to be seen as our hero of the story. We're going to be following them, which is cool. I think they can pull it off, but I also think that they need to keep it simple. Just a regular, traditional hero's journey kind of story. Bang, 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 bang. Nothing too crazy, because once it's kind of about a teenager and daddy issues and self extensionalism, and how he doesn't he wants to fit in, like all that stuff is not going to translate well. Being predators, and there's talk of them. The movies hired the same um, dialect coaches from Avatar. So in the Avatar movies, the Navi language is totally made up, and so somebody's job is to make up that language. And so in this movie, they've hired the same sort of people or person to do that. So my computer screen just went away there. Sorry. Anyway, all right. So yeah, Predator face is all wrong. Um, I also it seems like they're going towards the CGI route, which is fine. But I think you lose the wowness with a monster like that when you go CGI. There was nothing wrong with the practicality of the practical face. I understand it probably had its limitations and how fast it could probably react and things like that. But yeah, anyway, I guess they went a totally CG route, basically, kind of with the same team that brought you Gollum and Avatar. Again, they're going, they're spending some money here, and they're hiring some of the best people. Um, so the face of CGI, and there's gonna be like an actor behind that who's playing that with dots all over his face, and then he'll be what do you call that, like the facial capturing. Uh, so and I guess he'll also be performing the body movements too. He's the guy is a stunt performer, so hopefully we'll see the Predator doing some pretty cool athletic stuff, jumping around, Predator parkour. Why not? So just look at my notes here. Uh, yeah, can they make it work? I don't know if they can make it work as him being. They could definitely make it work as him being a hero. Can they make it work as him being and being the protagonist throughout the whole movie? I don't know. I think it just depends on the writing, really, because we've seen this before with um, films and movie studios taking an IP, a story, and kind of taking the villain of the piece and turning him into the hero. Um, for example, Maleficent. For example, Cruella. Those are just some examples of movies that are basically just taking the villain and kind of making a story from their point of view and making them sympathetic and yada yada yada. Um, don't know how well that works in those cases. Maleficent was made a lot of money, but I don't think a lot of people talk about that movie anymore. I didn't see either of those, so I can't really judge. But let's just say I don't know if that just lack of creativity of just let's just take the villain and make him a good guy after 6 movies is gonna work. It definitely is a change. All this is still pretty cool. It takes place on their home planet. But again, we're just really kind of worried about how much they really push any kind of like I think that you just can't. You got to keep it simple. I think you really got to keep this simple. It's a predator. They're a nomadic tribe. They're very proud race, and that's it. Like we really can't get into like their society and because things just get really cloudy and really goofy if you do that, and people are just gonna start to roll their eyes if we start to get into the like a like crazy politics or even a hierarchy of the predator. I mean, I think certain things of their society and culture can be explored. Again, it's got to be done. You could do it very simple, and still leaves a lot of open to like good interpretation. Um, so yeah, I think keep it simple, guys. It's just Predator. Um, so with this Predator movie, we it is confirmed that those are there's an android in there, and it's connected to the Weyland Yutani Corporation, which is the big bad corporation from the Aliens movies. So they're continuing with that shared universe. It's too early to tell whether or not they're gonna. Are they building to Alien versus Predator movie? Don't really know. I think it's a little too early to tell. We don't really hear anything from both Dan Trachtenberg and also I'm forgetting the name of the fellow who's behind the Alien Earth show. So that's also coming out very soon too. So all these things, the Alien Romulus movies, we have the Predator Killer of Killers animation thing coming out, and then we'll have Predator Badlands coming out later this year. Aliens Earth, the Hulu show, is going to be coming out. So we got a lot of this stuff coming out. Will they share universe? Will the universe intersect? Or will it just be something where, the Predator universe just needs a big bad corporation, and it just so happens that, it makes sense that Weyland Yutani and a corporation like that also pops up there. I think that's okay. I think that's okay if there's little shared world building there. Do I want to see Alien versus Predator yet, or Alien or the Predator race versus the Alien race teamed up with humans? No. I think if that's the direction they're headed, I think they should take their time and get Predator and Aliens back to, we got to get the faith back, because Prey was okay, but I think a lot of people watched that a second time and are kind of like meh. And I think the same thing with Romulus. So they're both installments of the series that may have brought them back from the dead a little bit, and they were Disney's first outing with those properties with Fox. So yeah, not they didn't really hit it out of the park. It was kind of like a little kind of dribbler single by both on both parts. Um, I think Prey is actually maybe a little bit better in execution than Romulus, Alien Romulus. There are things that I like about Prey better. Alien Romulus, when I really think about that, I really don't. I give that movie like a 4. And where in Prey, I think I give that like a 5, maybe 4.5. The design of the Predator in that movie is not good. Don't like the feral Predator. That's what they're calling that one. This Predator has a name. It's called Deke. Supposedly he's the runt of the litter. Anyhow, I don't know if that explains why he's so small. I guess. But let's just hope that's all he is. So yeah, so let me go. That's Predator Badlands. Let's talk about Alien Earth for a second. There's a lot of trailers that have been coming out with Alien Earth. And I think the marketing behind that is really good. There's been this like really slow build up, and a lot of the stuff that we're getting from it is very like vague and just like, we're not. It's very teasy, and it sets up a lot of intrigue. And the only thing with things like that is that there's no way to get, like, at least with like Predator Badlands. We know it looks great. We know they spent a lot of money on it. It's gonna look cool. Probably is gonna sound cool. The music sounds good. Everything, all that stuff is gonna be there. So with that, at least we get to see that, and at least we get to see the designs and see whether or not we like them or not. With Alien Earth, we really don't know yet. It's a lot of just like the feel of it, you know. So it's just really good marketing. Way better than James Gunn's Superman's marketing, by the way. I really think that the marketing behind Superman and the Fantastic Four is really bad right now, and I think it's just because they don't have faith in those two movies. I don't think we'll see good things from both of those. I think Jurassic Park eats both of those up. No pun intended. So anyway, let's go back to Alien Earth here. What other crossovers are we gonna see? In that little brief beginning of the Predator Badlands trailer, we saw the trophy wall with a bunch of skulls on there. What else can we see the Predator hunt? Is he gonna hunt an engineer? One of those big, tall, badass guys from Prometheus? Is he gonna hunt down the alien from Independence Day? Because that definitely was the Independence Day head up there. Or it could be, I did see a rumor, or not a rumor, but a theory that instead of the alien from Independence Day head, that also could be the head from the aliens from War of the Worlds, Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. Both are pretty similar in like shapes, so I think they're just good nods. Will we see the Predator battle a T-Rex? Because we did see a T-Rex head up there. We know he fights like what looks like a giant King Kong, with a tail. King Kong Godzilla crossover. So yeah, there's that. Are we gonna see Predator fight King Kong, Godzilla, aliens, and Jurassic Park all in one movie? Probably not. But the thought is exciting. Anywho, so back to Alien Earth. Yeah, what do I want to see from both of these? I guess like I said, I just want them to go back to the basics. I want them to kind of bring the prestige of these two properties, these two IPs, back to where they should be. Um, and I think to do that, they don't need to complicate things. I think they need to just keep it simple. They don't really need to add to the lore. They just need to build a story and then incorporate these elements from decades and all the movies and all the comic books, and fit those in there subtly. Yeah, I think you got to keep the predators just like this nomadic tribe. They can't be this like society like the Greeks, or I mean it's see, that's the thing, because if you start to go into like how they're so technologically advanced with all their laser beams and all their armor, how do they have that but yet they're also so you know tribal, and just the way they are, they just seem very like almost Native American. They're just hunters. They're not farming. They're not building cities and establishing um, religion. Or I mean, they probably have religion, but you know what I mean. I think so. Yeah, once you start to get into like how are these predators making the laser beams, and what do they make the laser beams for? Don't just have them with the laser beam and make them shoot stuff. That's good. That's good enough. Pew pew. Um. So yeah, I think from the Alien show, what I want to see is, again, just let's keep it like a Monsters of the Week kind of show. I think that will work. Every week is just like a new monster, which it looks like we're gonna get. The previews show like, and I think from some of the synopses, there's gonna be 5 different species that are aboard a ship that crash lands on the Earth and then gets founded out by some soldiers and female protagonists, and Timothy Olyphant, who's gonna be in it. And then also I also know that somehow there's seven different corporations in this one, along with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. So in this show, we'll probably see a lot of corporations kind of vining for the perfect specimen and just messing with alien DNA. So will we get the black goo? I really hope not. Will we see the engineers? I don't know, but if we see the engineers, we'll see the black goo. So I'd rather just not see either of them. But I would like to see the Predator jack up and go face to face with an engineer. I think that'd be cool. Further down the road. So anyway, yeah, we went on for a while here, and yeah, I just wanted to share some thoughts about Predator Badlands and Alien Earth, and just try to test out my new equipment here and talk to you guys. And that's it. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. And I hope you guys have a good night and day and morning. And in that order. See you guys. Be good. Bye.